Hello, I'm Trooper Matt Suddeth with the Kentucky State Police, and this is Allie Rich. She's our victims advocate here at Post 5 in Campbellsburg. Uh, as a state trooper, my role, if I'm dealing with a traumatic situation, if I'm called to a traumatic situation that a family may be dealing with, my role is to try to figure out the cause of that traumatic situation and see if we can come up with a resolution to try to correct that problem. Um, as such, I'm also going to help the family out with dealing with the problem and get them in touch with the Cabinet for Health and Family Services, see if they can offer any further services for the family.
My role as a victim advocate at Post is to work specifically with the victims, with the cases that the troopers and detectives have. Some of those roles include providing emotional support on scene to children and adults who have been through traumatic events, and also to get them connected with community resources to help them through this hard time. Another program that Kentucky State Police has kicked off recently is called the Handle with Care program. As your role as a trooper, would you like to talk about what you guys do with Handle with Care?
Absolutely. So if we're dealing with a traumatic situation with a family, part of that process for us, if there's a child in the family that could be experiencing some traumatic situation, we'll fill out just a real brief report, some small, a little bit of information that will be forwarded to the school to give the school a heads up saying, hey, this student may be dealing with a traumatic situation, and it's just a heads up so the school can be prepared.
And for your school to get signed up for Handle with Care, if you just contact Post 5 and ask for Allie Rich, the victim's advocate, we can get you guys signed up right away.
Hello, Eminence Independent staff and administrators. I'm Laura Danielson from Behavioral Health Associates. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your in-service today. Behavioral Health Associates is a small group practice of clinical social workers. We offer individual, family, and group therapy. We also work closely with and can refer clients to case management and medication management providers. We meet with clients and families at our offices in Louisville, as well as at schools, homes, or in the community. Some of you may have seen me around the building. I've been working with Eminence Independent students in the previous 2 school years. I work from a systems theory approach. This approach affords me a greater understanding of my clients as a whole, how their challenges manifest at home, school, work, and within their social lives. What this means for all of you is that I am available to support the incredible work you are doing in this building with your students. In addition to individual sessions with clients, I will support behavior plans in the classroom, meet with teachers who have concerns about a student, attend IEP meetings, advocate with families, the cabinet, and the courts. I believe collaboration across systems provides the client with the strongest opportunity for success. As we all navigate what will surely be a very different start to this school year, myself and Behavioral Health Associates are happy to support the students and staff of Eminence Independent in any way we can. If you have further thoughts or questions or just want to speak with me personally, the fabulous Molly and Lisa have all of my contact information and referral paperwork. Thanks. I hope that was helpful, and have a great day.
Hello, my name is Susan Anderson. I'm the court designated worker in Henry County and the court designated specialist in Henry, Oldham, and Trimble counties. I've been asked to give you a brief overview of what my office does. That would be the court designated workers office. Every county in the Commonwealth has a court designated workers office, and we process complaints that come across for juveniles, and those could be complaints for murder and rape, all the way down to beyond control school or truancy, runaway, or possession of a vape pen. There's 2 different types of complaints that juveniles can get. The first set of complaints would be a status offense, and a status offense is offenses that only juveniles can get, that adults cannot. That would be like beyond control school, possession of tobacco, truancy, runaway, stuff like that. The other type of complaint is public offenses, and that's offenses that and complaints that anybody can get, adults also. Juveniles can be charged with anything that an adult can be charged with. We work with whoever it is that is making the complaint, whether that be a school official for a truancy charge or beyond control charge, to law enforcement. Anybody can make a complaint against anybody in the state of Kentucky, including against juveniles. Sometimes we'll get incidents where there's altercation between students and law enforcement do not feel that it's significant to charge. So the parent or the juvenile can come in and have a complaint sworn out against the juvenile, and then we would put it before the county attorney to see if the county attorney feels that it is necessary to move forward with the complaint and the charges. Our process for the status offenses, which is something that I think that I work the most with the schools on, would be your beyond control schools, truancy, anything else typically comes through law enforcement, any of the more severe public offenses. So if we're looking at a status offense, which would be the truancy and beyond control, the school has a form that they fill out. It usually comes either through the teacher or the principal or Miss Scalise, and I do an interview with them, go over the paperwork to make sure that they have everything and I understand the complaint, and like for beyond control or truancy, what steps the school has made to rectify the situation, and if it's warranted, we would go ahead and move forward with a complaint. For status offenses, unless the juvenile has 3 prior diversions that they've already completed successfully or unsuccessfully, we don't go to the county attorney. Public offenses has to go to the county attorney to get their permission to move forward with whether or not they're allowing us to put the child on diversion. But status offenses, we do not. So we bring the child in, we do a preliminary inquiry, we do a short assessment with them, we see what's the needs of the family, and from there we can build our diversion terms. Our diversion terms, it's kind of like probation. We look at the situation as a whole and see what services are necessary to help the child be successful. Our diversion terms can be, of course, school attendance is a diversion term, counseling or mental health assessment, any types of mental health services. I can make referrals for them. We have to do 8 hours of education for the child. And then if the child successfully completes their diversion terms, the case is dismissed as if it never happened. Everything that we do in our office is confidential. If a child is not successful with our diversion terms, it would go ultimately in front of a judge, and depending upon what kind of charge it is will depend what court it goes in front of. I hope that this helps you, that it gives you a little bit of information. If you would like some more information, Miss Scalise knows how to get a hold of me. Thanks and have a great day.
Good morning, Eminence Independent Schools. My name is Lisa Pruitt. I am the Behavioral Health Outreach Coordinator for Peace Hospital U of L Health. We offer inpatient, partial hospitalization, and intensive outpatient programming. Inpatient services for children and adolescents. If they're admitted to our facility, the length of stay is typically 5 to 7 days. If a child meets partial hospitalization criteria, the program could last at least 1 month. They would basically come into our facility every morning to attend school, as well as receive treatment from a psychiatrist, social worker, art therapist, and recreation therapist. And then they would go home probably about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. A parent would have to transport to and from our facility. If transportation is a barrier, we will meet at the Jefferson Shelby County line or the Jefferson County Oldham County line, whichever would be closest for that parent, and then we would transport to our facility and then back to that location. A child, if we offer a telehealth assessment at the school, we would assess in a confidential area. The assessment takes about an hour. We would speak with the teacher, the counselor, as well as the child, interview the child. Of course, we have to have parents' permission before we're allowed to assess a child. Then we would determine what level of care that child met once we completed the assessment. We also staff every case with the psychiatrist, so the psychiatrist ultimately gives the recommendation. Recommendations can include inpatient services, intensive outpatient, partial hospitalization, or outpatient counseling. And in some cases, we may recommend an education class. If they meet inpatient criteria, a parent would have to transport them from the school to Our Lady of Peace for inpatient services. If we also do crisis assessments at Jewish Shelbyville, so if a child goes through the emergency room and they are in crisis, a ER doctor will examine them, and if part of the examination the ER doctor thinks the child may need a mental health assessment, he or she will contact us. We will send a mobile assessor to Jewish Hospital in Shelbyville, assess the child. If they meet inpatient criteria from the emergency room, then an ambulance will transport them to Peace Hospital for inpatient services. Once they come into the facility, they will go through registration and register, and a parent has to meet them. After registration, then they would go to our assessment and referral department. They may ask a few additional questions before moving the child to an inpatient unit at our facility. Well, of course, they will receive multiple meals throughout the day, snacks throughout the day. They will work with an art therapist. They'll also work with a recreational therapist. We have 2 gymnasiums inside of our facility. We have multiple playgrounds outside of our facility. We have a fun zone. It is a room filled with video games, so they will probably at some point be allowed into the fun zone as well. We try to make our campus as child-friendly as possible. We do work with the families on family counseling as well, so we do expect a parent to participate in some form of family therapy while the child is either inpatient at our facility or participating in our partial hospitalization program. Most kids, when I see them out in the community, they're like, oh, I've been to Peace Hospital. I always say, what do you like best about Peace? And they always state they like the food. So it's a good thing. We do have an excellent chef here, so they are they're eating very well while they spend their time here with us. If you need to schedule a crisis assessment, feel free to call our Assessment Referral Center at 502-479-4437. You will speak with Meredith, and she will schedule a telehealth assessment so we get assessed at your school. Or, if you would prefer, the parent may drive the child to Our Lady of Peace. We are open, which is now Peace Hospital. We are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They can walk in for an assessment at any time. Or they can go to Jewish Shelbyville through the ER, and then the emergency room doctor, once the child is medically cleared, will contact us and we will assess the child to determine level of care. If you need any assistance while a child is at our facility, you may reach out to me at any time. Thank you so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful school year.